Tell me about your friendship with Andy Warhol.
You know, I was just sort of on the verge of becoming um, a really good friend of his. I think that when he died, I was just on the verge of that. You know, he was an acquaintance, and I would see him more and more often. And he asked me to be sort of narrator on one of his TV show that he had on MTV called Andy Warhol's 15 Minutes. And I just completely admired and adored him. Well, who wouldn't?
Difficult to do it in brief, but who was he? I mean, who was he really?
Tough nut to crack. He was a generous person. He did a lot of charity work people don't even know about. He took care of his mother. I think he was, just a Polish kid from Pittsburgh, whatever that is. He was a genius. I think he was a genius.
So that answers the next question, what he was. And your answer is Andy Warhol was a bona fide certified genius.
Yeah, I think so. And, when he passed, the social scene in Manhattan, and especially in the downtown, was lost. There was a great sense of loss. Not just with me. And I didn't realize it until, 2 years later that I had been in mourning for him for a couple of years. And, I wasn't even an intimate friend. It was just this force of energy. He was there, he was positive, he went out to see things, he was visible. It was a tremendous magnetic force.
You own one of those Warhol portraits of yourself.
Yeah.
And you said it's among your most prized possessions.
Yeah.
Question, do you think he captured something about you that helped you see yourself in a different light?
He did something very nice in my portrait that he didn't do in anybody else's that I know of. In the, center of the eye, in the pupil, he always did like a little white mark, like a light, would hit the eye.
Right in the center of the eye.
Yeah, or wherever the reflection was, And he made mine heart-shaped. And I never noticed it until recently. And I looked, at the exhibit, and none of the other eyeballs had that. I was just like, oh, wow. That's it.
Well, that's something to oh wow about.
Yeah, yeah.